What is up guys, Cash back with another video, and today I'll go over everything that was shared in recent weeks that suggests that 2023 could be the final year of active development for Avengers, and why that will ultimately be a massive waste of a game that could turn things around if the studio was open to making a few simple but effective changes for the game. So let's jump into it. So for those of you who follow the channel and Avengers news updates in general, I know you're well aware of most of the things I'm about to cover, but bear with me for a bit so that I can get everyone else up to speed and try to make all of this digestible. So since the game launched, the dead game narratives have persisted, and wild fan theories about the game shutting down get tossed around every 5 minutes. And until recently, most of these claims were easily dismissed, especially by the end of the year when the developers confirmed that nothing has changed behind the scenes and that they have more content coming in the new year. And that's basically what we saw back in November when the Winter Soldier update finally went live. And the team shared that development will indeed continue in 2023, starting with a small update in patch 2.8 that will focus on continuing to update the hero roster to make every hero feel more powerful and fun to play. But not long after that, players hoping to see a better year for the game in 2023 after the underwhelming updates of 2022 were blindsided by an article from the game's biggest unofficial source of news, Miller, who, for those of you new to the game, is most known for data mining and revealing the planned roster of post-launch heroes, and later became the game's biggest insider and dropped some of the biggest reviews by breaking the news of Jane Foster and the Winter Soldier well ahead of their official announcements by the studio. In December, he released an article detailing a plethora of problems the team was facing behind the scenes that has made development on the project a nightmare allegedly, and while covering the recent controversy surrounding the game's lead designer, he shared that sources close to the project say that the studio was currently preparing to sunset the project in 2023, and that studio leadership allegedly only intended to support the game for 3 to 5 years post-launch, and that there are currently no plans for content in 2024. And for those of you who are interested in reading the article in full, I'll have the link posted in the video's description. Now, this news puts both the studio and the player base in a very awkward position to start the new year, because if these new rumors are indeed true and the studio is planning to cease any new development on the game beyond 2023, then this news getting out couldn't have come at a worse time, because I would imagine that they would much rather be able to break this news gently to a player base that is still very much invested in the future of this game well beyond 2023, and now they're faced with the choice of either ignoring the rumors entirely and hoping players do the same, or releasing an official statement to either deny the claims or simply state that there are currently no official plans to stop development to buy themselves more time. Miller has also recently shared that he's seen work continue on updating future content like the long-awaited patrol mode, as well as the highly anticipated villain Ultron, with the hope being at the very least the team can squeeze out at least one more hero before year's end, with at least 4 heroes being rumored to potentially be the next addition to the game. If you've been hanging out in any of my recent live streams, then you've heard my rants about how frustrating it's been to watch things deteriorate behind the scenes for this game these past few years, and how unnecessary it is because the game in its current state still has a ton of potential to be both profitable and marketable if the studio was simply willing to make the required changes and give the project at the very least another year to turn things around. Some of the biggest problems facing the game are the engine, which, because the game was originally going to be a single player experience, Crystal Dynamics opted to go with their foundation engine that they used for their Tomb Raider games, but once it was decided to go in a multiplayer direction, several major and costly changes had to be made to make the game functional. And now the team is stuck with an engine that requires a higher degree of expertise and training, which has made expanding the team and replacing key roles on the project extremely difficult, on top of the game's other major problem of being a live service game that doesn't actually charge for actual content. I'm not knocking the studio for wanting to give as many players access to DLC content as possible, but from a business perspective, that model made no financial sense from its inception, and for reasons unbeknownst to the public, there have been no plans to change that model by either going free to play and selling DLC content like operations and new heroes, or offering season passes to fund continued development of future content. The studio did indeed promise to only sell marketplace items like new skins, takedowns, and emotes, but for a game of this magnitude to actually thrive similar to titles like Destiny or Fortnite, selling DLC content is an absolute absolute must, and anyone who would criticize the studio for going back on their word would only be doing that in bad faith, because it's literally an industry standard at this point, and mobile games are charging at least 3 times as much on the regular. We've seen a huge dip in terms of quality for the game's story content, as well as marketing, and I think it simply comes down to misguided leadership, poor branding, and an unwillingness to actually try proven strategies that are benefiting other studios around the industry. My hope is that before any concrete plans are made, the studio earnestly considers offering the game free to play and monetizing the game's actual content that's currently available, and using those newfound resources to better market upcoming content and investing in new operations for the future, while still delivering some heroes and smaller events just to keep a steady flow of new playable content going. But that's my rant for today. I might do a full video on this in the future, detailing specific things they could do to turn this ship around and ultimately put themselves in a position to potentially go for a sequel that offers a better engine and even bigger opportunities, but we'll see. Now I want to hear you guys' thoughts down below. What do you think of the idea of development for Avengers stopping by the end of the year, and would you support the game going free to play and selling DLC content? Let me know down below, and make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed today's video, and subscribe to catch more Avengers content every week. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.